Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Try that again. Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to Adith Emmanuel here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, where we're delighted this morning to celebrate one of our own, Samuel Seidman, being called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. And we're so glad that all of you are here in person, as well as those of you who are able to watch us through the blessing of technology. So if you're watching via our live stream, I invite you to say Shabbat Shalom, give a little Mazel Tov, tell us where you're joining us from today. And for those of us who are here in person, though it might look like we are on a stage, that's not the case. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rabbi Amy Memes-Foler, along with our cantorial leader, Sandy Messenger-Aguilar, and our accompanist, Herb Malamut. We're just here to help Samuel lead the service this morning, as are all of you in the congregation. So if I'm singing or Sandy is reading, that's especially the time for all of you to join in with us. Now, when God was speaking to Moses at Mount Sinai, handing the Torah to Moses for Moses to then give the people, God said, "Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, this is a holy and sacred occasion. Speak to the Israelites and say to them, be sure that your cell phones are turned to the off or silent position." And thus Moses spoke to the Israelites and said, be sure that your cell phones are turned to the off and silent position. And thus the Israelites checked and double-checked to be sure that their cell phones indeed were in the off or silent position, even if they thought that they had left them in the tent. Seriously, if you do need to use your electronics, we ask that you please go into the foyer, and hopefully you'll be able to return into the congregation as soon as possible, because God did say to Moses, furthermore, there shall be no photography nor texting during this holy and sacred occasion, and that's why we just don't know what it looked like when God gave the Torah to Moses. We're delighted that everyone can be here today. As we begin our service this morning in song, we turn to page 128 in the brackets. As we announce pages, they will be in the bracketed pages. So page 128, as we open with Ma Yafeh Hayom, how lovely today is. Shabbat Shalom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 287 in the Siddur. At the bottom of the page, we pray responsively. We give thanks to you, O God, for this Shabbat day, which unites us as a community of faith and hope, for the holiness of Shabbat, which can lead us to fulfill the best that is in us. We give thanks. For the memories of Shabbat enriched by generations of our people who observed it and from it drew courage to face hardship and light to banish darkness, we are grateful. O God, our turning to you exalts our humanity. You are the joy of our life, the source of its greatness, its power, and its beauty. This time it's my pleasure to invite Stacy up to the bima to present Samuel with his talit.
As I wrap myself in the talit, I fulfill the mitzvah of my Creator. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihitatef batzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes.
As we continue now in our Siddur on page 288.
May my life be one in link in a chain of goodness. As I say the prayers of my ancestors, help me to recall their devotion and faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage. May I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth that I have found and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God above all and my neighbor as myself, and be a living witness to the truth that never changes.
We continue on page 290, 290.
Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Vani birov chastika avu v'techa ishtochavecha l'kodshika biratecha. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai avti mi'on beitecha u'mikum mishkan kevodecha. Vani shakava v'ekra ivrecha livnei Adonai osi. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofecha basar umafli la'asot. We continue on page 293.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech v'bina lehalchin ben yom uvein laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei kaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layav koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael betifara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who houses us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Please turn to page 313, and rise for the call to worship. Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach, Baruch Adonai Hamvarach, L'olam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praised be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. Please turn to page 317, and we read responsively. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
Give thanks.
Understanding every lip. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel. Whose life turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir in our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael ba'ava. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem kivod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Please turn to page 319, 319. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derek uvshotmecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot aliadecha v'hayu litotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizgeru va'asitem ekol mitzotai v'item kedoshim leilahechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue on page 321. 321 as we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, for soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Shira chadasha shibichu geulim, b'shem kol asmot hayom, yakar kulam hodu, v'him lichu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
As we are able, we rise for tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avutenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'zocher chasei avot va'imahot, u'mevi gula livnei v'neihem, le'ma'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer Moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakola tarav lo shia, morid hatal. Mechakel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim. Zolech noflim verfecholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunatel, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit, umechayeh, umitzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanak talehachayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol.
נקדיש שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה לזה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו אדוני, אדונינו מתיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודורון, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
May be seated. We continue on page 329.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקודשי שבי שבת כולם ישמעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. והשפיר רצית בו קידשתו שבת, חמדות ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. זכיר למעשה וראשית שבת, זכיר למעשה במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקורי עונג שבת.
We continue now on page 330. It's my pleasure to welcome to the Bima Audrey Stevenson.
On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves, and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged. Help enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence.
We continue on page 332. It's my pleasure to invite Jack Lemmel to lead us in this prayer. At the refrain, Modim Anachnu Lach, we invite the congregation to join in. Modim Anachnu Lach means we give you thanks.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imagination. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work, for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom. For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
We continue on page 334 with our prayer for peace, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Sim Shalom. Tova וחסד, חן וחסד ורחמים. חן וחסד, חן וחסד ורחמים, ברחמים שים שלום. טובה וברכה, שים שלום, טובה וברכה. עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך שים שלום. טובה וברכה, שים שלום, טובה וברכה.
We continue our prayers silently now, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 337, or those other prayers throughout the prayer book, or those meditations and thoughts in our hearts.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
We turn now in our Siddur to page 362 in the brackets for Seder Kriyat Torah, for the reading of the Torah. It's my pleasure to welcome to the Bima Sarah Seidman and Ellie Redless to open the Ark, and Irene Lynn and Stacy Sulzberg. page 363. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your city to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. We rise.
Titze Torah, Urvar Adonai v'Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion titze Torah, Urvar Adonai v'Yerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Israel. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Israel b'kedushato.
Samuel, this Torah scroll which I am holding in my arms is a very special one in our congregation because it was made by the congregation. It was the efforts of Adith Emmanuel members who hired a scribe to write these words, and some people even helped write these letters and these words, which in just a moment you're going to hold, and a moment after that you'll be reading from as well. And I think as you stand in this line with the generations that came before you, how the generations go all the way back to Moses at Mount Sinai, who handed it down to the people. And each generation said, we're going to teach Torah to the next generation, so that when, Samuel, we place this Torah scroll in your arms, it's for you not just to hold physically, but to live by, to have it guide your life, and then it's in your hands to pass along to the next generation.
Whatever has been befallen us, our people have remained steadfast in loyalty to the Torah. It was carried in the arms of parents that their children might not be deprived of their birthright.
And now we pray that you, Samuel, may always be worthy of this inheritance. Take its teachings into your heart, and in turn pass it on to your children and those who come after you. May you be a faithful Jew, searching for wisdom and truth, working for justice and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema, Gadlu Adonai iti, Unirubimo Shemo Yaktav, Leka Adonai Akidula,
May be seated. Our Torah portion this morning is a double one. It's Bahar B'chukotai, and Samuel's going to be reading from the first of these two portions called Bahar, and he'll be reading from that part of the Torah, Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1 and following. And if you'd like to follow along, you can do so in the Torah commentary, which is the larger blue book that you can find under the seats, and will be on page 946, Leviticus 25, verse 1 and following. And for the first aliyah, we call Joan Munn, Steve Burns, and Rachel Redless. Nala Amod, Yonit Leah bat Abraham v'Sarah, Shiloh Daniel ben Herschel v'Frances Levarech al HaTorah. Do you want to use
Come
the
out there
rail?
on the side.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai. Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vadaber Adonai el Moshe behar Sinai lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem ki tavu el haaretz asher ani noten lachem. B'shaveta haaretz Shabbat l'Adonai. Sheishanim tizra sadecha, v'sheishanim tizmor karmecha, v'asavta et tuata.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yishar kochechem. Do you want to go on the other side? Yeah, let's go to the ramp. For our second aliyah, we call Adam Seidman. Na la'amod Avraham ben Yosef livarech al haTorah aliyah shniyah.
Baruch et Adonai. Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notena Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Uvashana hashvi'it Shabbat Shabbaton yeh la'aretz Shabbat l'Adonai Sadecha lo tizra v'charmecha lo tizmor Et sefiach ketirecha lo tiksor Ve'et inevei nazirecha lo tiksor Shenat Shabbaton Yelaretz V'haita Shabbat haaretz lachem lecha lecha ulavdecha milamatecha v'lishircha utoshavecha hagarim imach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For our third aliyah, we call Aaron Lusterman and Nathan Feinberg. Nala Amod, Avram Melech ben Yigal Levi V'tova, V'natan Gilad ben Abraham Uvela Devora Levarech al HaTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Harach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan harbanu b'kol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'liphem techa v'lachaya asher be'artzecha tiyechol tehuata le'echol v'srafarta lecha Sheva Shabbatot Shanim Sheva Pe'amim V'hayu lecha Yemei Sheva Shabbatot Hashanim Tesha V'arbaim Shana V'avarta Shofar Trua B'chodesh HaShavi Basor LaChodesh B'yom HaKippurim Tavir Shofar B'chol Artzechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For our fourth aliyah, we call Stacy and Barry Solzberg. Nala Amod Chaya Davora Levarech Hala Torah Aliyah Revi'it.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'kidashtem et shenat ha'chamishim shana ukratem deror ba'aretz lechol yosheveha yovel hi tieh lachem v'shavtem ish el chudato v'ish al mishpachto tashu yovel hi shenat ha'chamishim shana tieh lachem Lo tizra'u v'lo tiksaru et sevichecha v'lo tivtaru et nizirecha ki yovel ki kodesh tieh lachem min hasadeh tochelu et teruata.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Nalamod, Nalamod, Nalamod. Shmuel Harel ben Avraham v'chaya Devora. Bachor harbar mitzvah. Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Bishnat hayovel hazo tashuvu ish el achuzato, v'chin timkeru mimkar la'amitecha, okano miyad amitecha, altonu ish adachiv. B'mispar shanim achar hayovel, tikne me'et amitecha, b'mispar shnei tevuot, Yimkor lach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu. Yeilanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Yisrael. Simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, simen tovu. Yeilanu.
We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing. And so we turn in our prayer book, in our Siddur, to page 371 in the brackets, page 371. If you're joining us through the blessing of technology, we invite you to add those names of the people whom you're thinking of who are in need of healing, whether it's a healing of the body or mind or spirit. And those here in the sanctuary will have an opportunity to add names after I share with you the names of those whom we're thinking of in our extended Adith Emmanuel family. We send blessings of healing to Alice Oppenheimer, Marlene Kaplan, Robin Schaefer, Amanda Fink-Krasner, Deb Nielsen, Alana Selman, Moshe Ben Elizabeth Theodore, Rosalie Middleman, Jennifer Ness, Marcy Gittler, Mel Klein, George Goldstein, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Linda Drachman, Chaim Ben David, Eileen Davison, Craig Davison, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Lisa Galda, Ed Crosby, Myra Kaplan, Jeff Schaefer, Lulu Ruvuela, Marion Wirtz, Aaron Tepper, Lily Tepper, Louis Alahut, Tricia Tepper, Carol Schaefer, Mary Mednitsky, Jocelyn Jackson, Jen Jones, Shirley Friedlander, Michael Infante, Gary Garnick, Ann Marsden, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn, Irene Lynn. Are there other names we might add at this time? If you would like to, I invite you to rise in your place and call out the name as I pass my hand through the congregation. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim.
Mikol abrachot limutenu, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Mi sheberoch imotenu, mikor abracha lovotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It's my pleasure to welcome to the Bima Barry Salzberg and Dave Salzberg to lift Torah as the congregation rises. Just lift it off the table.
Vizot HaTorah asher samosha lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Eilech amda libi, husana v'ana titalem. 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 Eilech amda libi, husana v'ana titalem.
Shabbat Shalom. My Haftarah portion is from the book of Leviticus. My Haftarah portion is about how the land is supposed to remain within the family that had possessed it at the time of the first land allotment. My Torah relates to my Haftarah portion because both are about land. In my Torah portion, we read about the rules of ownership of the land. In the Haftarah portion, we read about Jeremiah's acquisition of land in accordance with the rules that are in my Torah portion. To follow my Haftarah portion, please turn to page 1003 in the Torah commentary book. 1003. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'devreihem hana'amarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek. Va'ekne et hasadeh me'et Chanamel ben Dodi asher ba'anatot va'eshkala lo et ha'kesef shiva shekalim va'asara ha'kasef Ba'echtov, ba'sefer, ba'echtom, ba'ed edim, ba'eshkol ha'kesef, b'mozenayim, ba'ekach et sefer ha'mikna, et hechotum, ha'mitzvah, v'hachukim, ve'et hagalui, va'eten, et ha-sefer ha-mikna, el Baruch ben Neriah, ben Machseyah, le'enei Chanamel Dodi, ule'enei ha'edim, ha'kutivim, b'sefer ha-mikna, le'enei kol ha'Yehudim, ha'yoshevim, b'chatzar ha'matara, Ba'atzavet et Baruch le'eneihem le'emor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzor kol ha'olamim, tzaddik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al ha-Torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatatan lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limucha lechavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mbrachim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Shalom, everybody. I am Samuel Seidman. I have been called to the Torah to become a bar mitzvah. I'm very excited for this time in my life, because I finally get to show off what I've been working on for over 9 months. Also from this, I can connect with other Jews who have become a bar or bat mitzvah. The name of my Torah portion is Bahar. In this portion of the Torah, God is telling us to allow the land to rest for a year every 6 years. During this year, the produce that the land gives becomes free to both man and beast. My Torah portion is also about how we should give the land a year to rest and allow people in need to feel free to gather whatever the field might grow naturally. The beginning part of the Torah portion talks about letting the land rest every 7 years. Further through the story, it tells us about the Jubilee, which happens every 50 years. In the 50th year, slaves would be released. The people in need would not be treated as slaves when in debt. Also in this week's Torah portion, we explore the concept of mitzvot and how we can approach it in a meaningful way. Through looking at the teachings of the Torah, we learn that it's not enough to simply go through the motions of fulfilling our duties. Instead, we are encouraged to bring intention and purpose to our actions and to do a good deed without anyone asking. By doing so, we deepen our understanding of the world around us, and we are better able to fulfill our responsibilities as members of the Jewish community. Today, farmers use fertilizer and other man-made soil products to make their farm fertilized so they don't have to wait a year. Also, today, many farmers have more than one field so they can rotate their crops and to let a field rest. Back then, Jews had to wait a year for their soil to get refertilized. Also today, most farmers don't want random people coming on their property and taking from their farms. A lesson we can learn from this week's Torah portion is that it's still important for the land to take a rest. It's also important today to give people time to rest and relax. My mitzvah project was working at a soup kitchen. I helped serve and put food on plates. Now, this doesn't sound like much, but it was. There were at least 60 people there, and of course, they were all hungry. Our group had to get food out to them quickly so they could eat. This was meaningful to me because in my Torah portion, people got a chance to eat food off a farm that wasn't being used for a year. My mitzvah project relates to this since we are helping people in need by giving them food. First of all, I want to thank my family for encouraging me to get to this moment and helping me plan everything for a very long time. Second, I want to thank Ken or Sandy for helping me learn all the prayers, my Torah portion, and any other things to get me to this day. I also want to thank Larry Marcus for helping me with my walkthroughs. They were very helpful. Thank you, Rabbi, for giving me feedback on my Devar Torah and fixing it. I also want to thank my friends for being there for me, making me laugh and having fun. Thank you, everyone, for being here today and being part of my life.
You may close your books. And Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Samuel, and Mazel Tov to all the family on this Simcha, this joyful occasion. Thank you, Samuel, for leading us today, and I hope you're feeling proud of your accomplishments. For I know those of us who've been your teachers and guided you along the way, and many people who are in this sanctuary feel proud as well. The verses that you read from our Torah this morning talked about the sabbatical, and you shared with us about giving the land a rest. And today in modern world we have rotating crops and lots of fields. And that idea of giving the land a rest comes, we do it every 7 years. That comes with the idea of this 7 connected to the 7 days of the week, and on the 7th day, we give a rest, which we call Shabbat, or in English, the Sabbath. And in Judaism, it's from Friday night to Saturday night that Jews observe Shabbat. It's our day of rest, and it's a special day. It's set apart from the rest of the week. So when we say Shabbat Kedushah, the holiness of Shabbat, the word Kedushah or Kodesh, sometimes we translate it as holy or sacred, but it really means separate and special and apart from the rest of the week. And I imagine that every Jewish person, every individual, observes Shabbat differently in their own way and make it special. And it reminds me of a story about Rabbi Joshua, who lived about 1900 years ago, and he observed Shabbat frequently with the emperor of the time. And the emperor came to Rabbi Joshua ben Hanina's house, and it was actually quite frequently, occasional Shabbat here or there. And one day, as the emperor was there, he said to his dear friend, Rabbi Joshua, "Please tell me why Shabbat food, the Sabbath food, tastes so pleasant and so much better than the other food that you prepare during the week." And Rabbi Joshua thought about it for a while and said, "My dear emperor, I'm going to tell you the truth. We have a special spice, and it's called Shabbat, and we put that spice of Shabbat into the food, and that's what makes it so pleasant." Well, the emperor said then, "Good. Why don't you give me some of that Shabbat spice, and I'll give it to my cooks, and they'll make my meals, and they'll taste so special." And Rabbi Joshua said, "Well, Your Majesty, even if I were to give you that special spice of Shabbat, it wouldn't quite be special unless one were to observe Shabbat." And the emperor humbly nodded and said, "I get it. Thank you. I understand." There's many lessons we can learn for this story, and I think one of the lessons is that it's not a special ingredient that makes Shabbat special. I'm thinking of like the everything but the bagel, right? That's not going to make Shabbat special, though it could, right? But it's the actions we take, not one ingredient we put into our food. And it might be the action of having meal with family or friends, or coming to services on Friday night or Saturday mornings, or doing something that we especially love on Shabbat that we can't do during the rest of the week. We call that Shabbat oneg. You think oneg means cookies, right? It does, but it's joy, it's it's what oneg means joy, and it's what gives us joy. I remember a rabbi that I had in rabbinical school used to do his garden planting on Shabbat. And one would say, well, according to tradition, one shouldn't be planting and creating on Shabbat, but for him, that gave him joy, and that was his opportunity to do it on Saturdays, apart Kiddusha from the rest of the week. And so too it is for us, for those of us who are Jewish. There's not one specific special ingredient we can stir into the food to make our Judaism special. It's what we choose to do and how we choose to live. And that's what's going to add to our lives and enrich it and make it special. And Samuel, I think that you of all people, you understand this. Because I see you here on so many Friday nights. I see you on Wednesday nights at teen nights, and I'm just going to wave hello to some of your friends, teen night friends back there. And I watch you engage with your friends and having fun with them as you're learning. And you're here on other occasions, like holidays, or to help make the world a better place. We call that tikkun olam, repairing the world, the way you're engaged with that, and how you did that as part of your Mitzvah project, helping to feed other people and making this place a better world. Samuel, you're smart, you're funny, you're a caring person. You seem to be in tune with others and how they're feeling. And I see you as somebody who's very much already engaged in Jewish life. And if you haven't already thought about it, I'm going to plant that seed that you might consider becoming a madrachim in our religious school, because I think you have the exact right character to do that. Somebody who's got Judaism in here, and also the knowledge that you can be that role model for our younger children in religious school, because I think already you are that role model, not just for our children, but for the adults around you as well. And I look forward to when I can be your teacher at confirmation. Now, Samuel, when you held that Torah physically, it wasn't too heavy, too hard of a burden, right, for you? And thank goodness we made that new Torah, which is much smaller than the other heavy Torahs in the Ark, so that our B'nai Mitzvah can carry it with less of a burden. But it does become a responsibility not just to carry it, but to take the things that are inside, the teachings, the values, and that they will guide you in your life going forward. And I think that the Torah is in good hands with you, Samuel, and you will pass it along to the next generation. And so as a way of thanking God for giving us life, for sustaining us all these years, and enabling us to reach this very day, it's my pleasure to invite Sarah to come to the bima to share and lead the Shehechianu, the blessing of gratitude.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehekianu v'hekianu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, for keeping us alive, for taking care of us, and for allowing us to reach this special day of my brother's bar mitzvah.
Amen. And so now, Samuel, I invite you and your mom to come back up to the bima for this blessing.
It seems to me so very natural to bless you, you who have been a source of some of my truest blessings. One meaning of your Hebrew name, Shmuel, means name of God. Another is God has heard or asked of God. May your name be a constant reminder of your Jewish faith. May you live a life that allows you to reflect God's love and virtues. May your heart always be open to hear him. May you be a blessing to all who know you. This is also the time, now as you become a bar mitzvah, to look at the blessings that God has given you. The blessing of health, the blessing of family and friends, the blessing of curiosity and wisdom, and so many others too numerous to count. May you take all of the blessings so you may live to see your world fulfilled. I pray for you that your heart be filled with understanding, your words to have insight, and your vision be a straight path before you. And may your feet swiftly take you to the places where the words of God are heard. I love you.
As we are able, we rise as we return the Torah to the Ark on page 374. Page 374.
Its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Samuel, may God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chonecha.
May God's radiance shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's presence be with you always and give you peace.
V'yaseim lecha shalom, shalom, shalom.
We remain standing as we turn to page 586. Page 586 at the bottom of the page for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are no longer with us, and so we turn in our Siddur to pages 598 and 599 as we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us during this period of Shiva and Shloshim. We think of Geraldine Stone, aunt of Renee Godfrey, Leroy Tompkins, brother of Bill, uncle of Michael, Ben Lippitz, friend of Shayna Goldberg. And we think of those who have died at this season in years past, whose yahrzeits we mark on this occasion, on this Shabbat. We remember Rosalind Brust, Belle Ginsberg, Susan Goldsmith, Ruth Kalins, Anna Lichtman, Lawrence London, Samuel Marcus, Esther Myers, Rosanna Safran, Selma Shapiro, Eleanor Silverberg, Morris Simbro, Morris Stein, and those who are especially in the memories of Samuel Seidman's family at this time. We remember Stan Lynn, Joel Seidman, Francis Birnbaum, Herbert Birnbaum. And if there are other names you'd like to add at this time, if you're watching through the blessing of technology, feel free to add those names in the chat. For those in the sanctuary, I invite you to just raise your hand and mention those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for blessing as we turn now to page 598, joining in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal V'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah B'alma Divrach Yerutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon Uv'yomechon Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uv'izman Karivi Imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Omei Omaya Yitparach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha B'riyachu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush B'chata V'nechemata Ta'amiran B'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Limramav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. May be seated. And I invite Samuel and your family back onto the bima for the closing song, which you have chosen. Oh no, wait, before that, I invite Karen to the bima. Keep forgetting that. Karen to the bima to present you, but Samuel, you do have to come back. Present you with some gifts from various parts of the synagogue. Karen Fetterman, a member of our board of directors, trustees.
Wait, you guys stand here, because I'm used to doing this. Sorry. I have a really long speech, so maybe you want to sit down. No, I'm just kidding. Samuel, on behalf of the congregation, I'd like to congratulate you on becoming a bar mitzvah today. You led a beautiful service, and we're also very proud of you. And a very special mazel tov to your entire family for the love and support they gave you during your study process. I know they did a lot of support, right? I can see in their faces their great sense of pride and in your accomplishment today. And a mazel tov to all of us here as we all share in the joy of this beautiful, special day. Our daily lives are filled with all sorts of choices. that compete for our time, our thoughts, and our hearts. You have shown your love of Judaism by choosing to spend your valuable time in preparation for your bar mitzvah. We hope that you will continue your studies of Judaism with teen night and confirmation class and post-confirmation, and that you will continue a lifelong journey in your pursuit of Jewish learning, observance, and participation in the life of our congregation. I have been so fortunate to get to know you over the past year. Through teen night and us having class together, we learned about the holidays. I know you're like an expert on Jewish holidays now. And learning about Jewish baking, his mad challah braiding skills now, and he can make a great baraka. I even made a few things that you could eat, so that was good. And you weren't that mad at me when I gave you something that you couldn't eat, so whoopsies. It's evident that your Judaism is an important part of your life, as we see you here, as the rabbi said, on so many Friday nights and at other congregational activities. You're an assistant in our religious school, which is so awesome, and through your participation and support of our AFTI programs, from sukkah decorating to Hanukkah parties to the Purim Carnival, your enthusiasm and assistance help support our congregational family. And of course, you're having fun with your friends while we're doing all that. So thanks, you guys, for being supportive. It's my hope that you will continue to be involved in our teen and AFTI programs, and that you continue through confirmation and post-confirmation. And I definitely see you becoming a leader in these endeavors in the future. Towards this end, it gives me great pleasure to present you with these lovely gifts. On behalf of the Sisterhood, the Men's Club, and our Board of Trustees, I present to you some Shabbat candlesticks, a Kiddush cup, and this lovely book on the doorposts of our house. It is our hope and prayer that these will be a wonderful memory of today, and that you will observe Shabbat and holidays with this Kiddush cup and candlesticks. And you will continue your curiosity and Jewish learning by reading and embrace our Torah in your daily life. Again, I'd like to extend my congratulations to you and to your family. Mazel tov. Can I hug you? Okay, good. Thank you. Mazel tov. You could touch those because you're yours now.
And now we invite your family to come up to the bima for our closing song, which you have chosen as Mitzvah, Gereret Mitzvah, and we can find that in the Siddur on page
646.
I think you're going over to see this. You can leave that here.
The bottom of page 646.
I can make gestures.
And if you don't know the Hebrew, you can always do the hands. Mitzvah, Gereret Mitzvah. Woo! Avera, Gereret, Avera. Oh, oh, Mitzvah, Gereret Mitzvah. Gereret Mitzvah. La, 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 la. Leo Sadiq. Zeto.
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 Leo Sadiq. Zeto. Tov oh, 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 oh. Mitzvah, Gereret Mitzvah. Woo! Avera, Gereret, Avera. Oh, oh, Mitzvah, Gereret Mitzvah. Gereret Mitzvah. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. La.
And we continue with Yush and Motzi. Samuel, don't forget these. You have your binder?
I'll do this.
Right.
And so no matter where my eyes go, I can find it.
Or have a bookmark. And slide the bookmark.
But I do, but you know, this doesn't slip. It pretty much stays where I want it. And up here it's
Well,
less
wait
obvious.
until you start doing this.
Oh, that happens because I have a central tremor, that's why the eyes come from. But when I'm touching something, I'm good. If I had to do it like this, that would be bad. But when I touch, then I'm good. Because it steadies it.
We find ways to